All right, so today is day 20. I only have 10 days left of this thing. I'm pretty stoked. But the funny thing is now that I'm getting closer to the end is I don't really want it to end. I feel pretty good how I'm eating, and I kind of want to just continue this way. So I think on day 30, I'm not gonna end it, but my main goal is gonna continue to just be low carbs. I'm probably gonna try and keep my carbs below 50 a day, which I think the standard American diet calls for like 250 to 300 grams of carbs, or maybe a little less, 250 or 200 or 250. So mine's going to be more closer to under 50, which an apple a day I think is like 25 grams of carbs. So I'm looking at doing more like one fruit a day, or carrots or cucumbers or something that has low carbs, or just stick with this meat and low fruit and just see how that keeps going. But so obviously what's tough on this diet is eating out, and I experienced that for the first time last night with some friends. Friends invited us to go to this yummy restaurant. It was my first time going there, and they're known for, they have a small menu. You got to do a reservation. You can't just walk in and eat there. So we went, it was amazing, but the only thing I could eat on the menu were ribs. And so I ordered the ribs, and my wife had the sides. She had a salad as well. And so that was interesting though. While everybody's enjoying, like, they brought out French press coffee, they brought out all these, you know, entrees and appetizers and everything, all these things I couldn't eat. And so I'm more of a person who's like, just don't, you know, I told my wife, like, don't say anything, we'll just whatever. And they kept saying, oh, you should try this. I'm just like, oh, that looks good, you know, and just, it's just funny, but I literally couldn't eat anything that was eaten except for the ribs. And they even had to scrape off, like, there was some like vegetables, and I think they cooked it with apples, which I wasn't stressed about because I've been having an apple a day. So I kind of let that go, but also had to scrape off some of like the, whatever they put on top of it. They didn't douse it in sauce, but they put some type of like vegetable chopped up stuff on top of it. And so, but it was delicious. But that was my first experience with that. And it was really interesting because so much of our culture is surrounded by eating and going out to restaurants and drinks and food and all this stuff. So it's such an adjustment to look ahead. I even found myself looking at the menu ahead of time to see what I could eat. And so just to be aware, if you're trying something like this or an elimination diet, if you still want to be social and going out to eat and going with friends, it takes a lot more planning, but it's you know, it definitely is something that's doable. It's just how much you want to do it, you know? So you definitely got to pay attention. You got to plan ahead, and it's doable, and it was great. It was fun. I definitely wanted to drink that French press coffee. That was the most appetizing looking to me because I love French press, but everything else was great. It was a great night. The ribs were insanely good. And so yeah, so those are just things you got to adapt to as you try something like this. Butcher box order just came. It's a lot of meat. That's a lot of meat. So one thing my daughter told me is there's a lot more bananas in the house now because of me. They call me Monkey Boy because I used to constantly eat bananas. And now we have a surplus of bananas.
I want banana, Daddy.
Get it!
I want banana. A banana, Daddy.
Are you a monkey? So I had to go buy more charcoal briquettes at the store, and they didn't have the one I usually get, so I tried this Cowboy brand oak and hickory hardwood lump, and it's been so good. It's funny how day one I ate one of these 10-ounce ribeye steaks and was like, oh, I'm so hungry, I might eat this whole thing. Dude, I can eat one of these and 3 fried eggs like nothing now. So it's definitely an adapting period, but the way I cook these is just salt and pepper, that's it, before I throw it on. Put it in the smoker. I do like 250 to 300, just slow cook it until the internal temp is around 140. And I enjoy.